Hi, welcome to our channel True Up. I want to express my gratitude to my nation and its people for their assistance and support. The biggest thing helping me through this is this. Meng Wanzhou's heartfelt address before departing for Canada ends with these lines. Meng Wanzhou's statements reflect her honest feelings as well as her strong, self-assured spiritual support following her unjust detention in the United States and Canada for more than a year. Ms. Meng Wanzhou boarded a chartered airplane out of Canada on September 24 local time and made her way back to China to be with her family thanks to the Chinese government's tireless efforts. Please subscribe to our channel before we begin the video we have today so that we can urge you to watch more of them. I'd like to talk about the Huawei CFO, Meng Wanzhou's many admirable traits, the dubious timing of the US prosecution against her, and the skewed Western media stories in today's video. Okay, let's get going. Let's start by discussing Ms. Meng's motivational traits. She was quite brave and persistent, to start. She managed to gather herself while being under a lot of stress and uncertainty. She had to wear an electronic ankle bracelet that tracked her activities around the clock for more than 2 years, but she handled it well. Second, her insight and positivity will encourage everyone who has experienced injustice to remain composed and overcome their obstacles. She blatantly resembles Ren Zhengfei, the founder of Huawei Technologies Company. Ren was questioned about his daughter in an interview with CCTV in 2019. "I don't worry, my daughter is likewise quite hopeful," he remarked. Ren urged his staff that the business must continue to be transparent and learn from the US despite the issues Huawei has had with US laws. Meng even persisted on studying while she was incarcerated and informed her father that she would be reading a doctor while she was there. She refrained from reveling in her suffering and was unable to free herself. She learned oil painting and cleanses her soul to alleviate herself. Third, Meng protected her nation's honor. Meng was kind throughout her experience, even grinning when she was seen leaving her home. Her demeanor won the admiration of all around her, including Heather Holmes, Associate Chief Justice of the British Columbia Supreme Court, who formally concluded the Canadian proceedings against her. She addressed Meng personally during the last hearing on September 25, saying, "The court appreciates and thanks you for being helpful and courteous throughout the proceedings." Last but not least, Meng exemplifies the inner beauty of Chinese women by making an effect in a field that is predominantly male. Let's discuss the suspicious elements surrounding Meng Wanzhou's case in the next section. When Jen Psaki, the press secretary for the White House, emphasized the U.S. Justice Department's independence in reaching a settlement with Meng Wanzhou, I was left with the impression that some high officials actually view regular people as being naive. The U.S. Attorney General, who oversees the Justice Department, is a constitutional member of the President's cabinet and is selected by them. As it addresses a disgraceful attempt by the former administration to use any means in the political squabbling it launched with China, the present U.S. government should be proud of the way it has handled this matter. It again sends a message to the globe that meaningful nation-to-nation discussion will, hopefully, replace such demeaning techniques. Let's review the case's facts. As it built its own technology and exported it all over the world, Huawei has become a Chinese champion. Ren Zhengfei still serves as the organization's CEO, in contrast to certain other IT founders. The Harvard Business Review referred to his long-standing stock distribution policy for Huawei employees as a profit-sharing case study. He retains just about 1% of the business. Although the other Five Eyes nations first concluded there were no such problems, Huawei was targeted by the US with national security accusations that it was able to sell to other countries. All of this makes it challenging to believe that Meng's extradition request was a sincere effort to uphold the law. Allegations that Canada was behaving as a puppet ignore the country's strict adherence to the law despite the fact that it was caught in the crossfire. According to the World Justice Project's Rule of Law Index, it is ranked 9th. Fair enough, as part of the agreement for her release, Meng did acknowledge deceiving HSBC. The choice and timing of filing such accusations, however, are what really matter. They cannot be made arbitrarily with a goal other than doing justice. Numerous publications from the West have criticized China for its hostage-taking tactics in the instances of Meng Wanzhou, Michael Kovrig, and Michael Spavor. I want to mention two things that the Western mainstream media leaves out. The UN Convention Against Transnational Organized Crime establishes two fundamental legal concepts regarding international extradition accords. First, the extradited person's offenses must be ones that are significant in both nations. While conducting business with Iran is illegal in the US, it is not a felony in Canada. In the first legal test, Canada failed. Second, there must be no political motivation behind the extradition. This stops nations from apprehending their political dissidents who have fled and taken refuge in other nations. Then US President Donald Trump declared on December 11 that he might become involved in Meng's case if he felt it would be good for what will be the biggest trade deal ever completed. She was a pawn in the US and China's trade and technology conflict, anyone with an open mind would realize. In this second legal test, Canada failed. It's also important to note that certain European nations reportedly turned down the US request to detain Meng when she traveled there, according to the Chinese Foreign Ministry. Instead, Trudeau bowed down. Political leaders need to be astute in international politics. Western newspaper pieces may draw readers and give some people a nice feeling, but they don't really assist the public comprehend the true problem or the connection between Canada and China. And soon as the aircraft departed from the North Pole and headed in the "I wouldn't have the freedom I have today without a strong motherland," Meng Wanzhou said on her WeChat while on the flight. "The magnificent Chinese red is what sparked my faith, brought light to my darkest hours, and guided me back to the arduous trek home." Overall, it indicates that the United States has already failed when it uses political kidnappings as a superpower to stifle Huawei and obstruct China's progress. Because the proper course of action would be for the United States to encourage its own high-tech businesses and engage in market competition with Huawei. Unfortunately, because Huawei is so strong, the US has not been able to locate an opponent that can match it. Meng's return this time represents a significant success for China in the conflict with the United States and the start of a power reversal between the two countries. Thanks for watching our video. We would appreciate it if you subscribed our channel and gave us a thumb. See you.